Guys, welcome to my channel. Today we're going to be talking about how to put your inner child on a pedestal, why it's important to do that, and how this changes everything. Watch this video. Hey guys, welcome to my channel. If you're new, please click the little subscribe button and the bell to receive notification when I release a new video. And if you've been with me for a while, thank you so much and welcome back. I first want to mention the Patreon link. That is for people who want to join and get worksheets and assignments and all the things about this video after the video post. So if you're interested in that, please click the Patreon link. Also, there's another tier in there that if you want to ask me a personal question about healing and receive an in-depth answer, you can also join in Patreon. So check that out. One last thing, please make sure you check out the holiday bundle. It will be going on, I believe, until right before Christmas. So if this video is released before then, the holiday bundle, which is shadow work at a massive discount and free EFTs and free meditations is in there for you. So check that out. Moving on. So putting your inner child on a pedestal is my new example of how it feels and how it needs to be when we're healing from a toxic relationship or healing from a toxic parent or family dynamic. This is so huge, you guys. I literally was in the eye doctor this morning and there were some girls, I hope they're watching this, talking about this unhealthy family dynamic they were in, both of them separately. And I chimed in, I said, look, I do this for a living. I just want to give you some ideas. She's like, oh God, what do you mean? This is great. So I give her some ideas about it. She goes, the thing is, I don't want to feel bad anymore about not going to family holidays. It's toxic for me. She goes, I don't want to feel bad anymore about not liking my grandparent. It feels bad for me. And I said, well, it's time for your freedom. You don't have to feel bad about something that was bad for you. Period. And this is what I mean. We have been taught to put our elders on a pedestal, our teachers, our parents, but what if those people are toxic and abusive? Are we still supposed to put them on a pedestal? What happens when we do that because of cultural things, right? Like we've been taught this is what you do. When we put these people on a pedestal, we're not only gaslighting our inner child, but we're re-triggering, re-abusing, right? Because we're telling ourselves, well, they must be okay, or I need permission from them to love myself still. I need them to change the way they treat me. There was one girl that I was talking to recently that told me that her mother calls her fat all the time. And she's like, is that wrong? And I'm looking at her, I'm like, well, first of all, you're not. I don't know what standard she's talking about. She goes, well, she's Filipino. They're all super tiny. I'm not. I'm like, you look perfect to me. I said, well, let me tell you why. A massive part of her identity, when I started telling her this, she started shaking her head. This is a girl in a store that I just talk to people. And she starts shaking her head and I go, that's her identity. Her identity is this is what it means to be blah, 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 blah. If my daughter's not that, she's invalidating my identity. And she's like, this is how it's always been. So we have these parents and people on a pedestal that aren't treating us right. And the first thing we need to do is realize I've not been treated right. This one girl in the eye doctor, she hadn't been treated right since she was 12. And she goes, I'm just sick of it. And I'm like, yep, time to deal with it differently, right? Be the change. So let's be honest. So a lot of times we gaslight our perception. We say, I must be wrong. You've seen in past videos I talk about this. I must be wrong that that's really bad or that really happened. Or maybe I'm just too sensitive that it bothers me too much. Here's one thing I want you to know. If you're sensitive or not, you're never too sensitive. And if you are, it's because something happened to make you that way. So let's stop blaming ourselves. Let's stop gaslighting ourselves. Let's stop messing with ourselves. And so here's the thing. We have to understand that this is what happened. And whether it's true or not, it was my perception. So it's my reality. And I'm going to choose to trust and honor my perception of my reality because that is how I get to my truth. Whether I do the healing work and then decide, okay, maybe I over-exaggerated because of trauma, it doesn't matter. Getting there is the key. So to get to your truth, you have to follow the truth of your perception. I hope that makes sense for you because it's really big and I have other videos on perception. So we have to understand this is what happened for me, whether you agree or not. And if you're in a toxic narcissistic family dynamic or a codependent family dynamic, they're not going to agree with you. So don't even worry about it. You need to agree with you. This is what happened to me. This is what happened to me. Then I need to learn that I've always deserved more than I've gotten. And then people ask me, well, why didn't I get it then? Because the world is a crazy place. And people have wounds and they have free will and they do shit that you don't deserve because that's life. But if you line up with something higher, you'll see that when you start to protect yourself and love yourself, own yourself, and claim yourself and support yourself, the universe does too, because we're connected with the universe, right? So much more on that in another video. But for the purposes of this video, now that you've decided this is my perception of what the heck happened to me, now, I want to encourage you to take your inner child that hopefully you've been doing work on at this point. If not, please look at my tons of inner child videos. It's super helpful. I also have an inner work class called Inner Work to really heal your inner child. Emotional rehab heals your inner child. So take some classes, watch some videos. We really need to understand how to reparent our inner child. And once you start to do that, you need to just listen to me on this. This is your homework assignment. Take that inner child, put her right up, or him right up on that pedestal and say, wow, I'm going to honor my feelings and my perceptions and what I like and dislike more than anyone else right now, just as an experiment. And then what you have to do when you start honoring that is you have to take aligned action steps, right? This is step 3 of Soul Lab class. Aligned action. When I take an aligned action in alignment with what I feel, example, her mom is telling her she's fat. You know, I don't agree with you. I don't think many people agree with you. I think that's your own issue, and I'm not here to hear it anymore. And if you want to keep telling me, we're not going to talk. That's aligned action. That's putting yourself on the pedestal, your inner child, the one that needs you to have her back so that she can trust you again. And when she trusts you again, that wisdom starts coming up, right? Insights start coming forward because the wise guide inside that inner child is starting to feel honored, is starting to feel validated, is starting to feel safe in its authentic self. This is what you need to do. And when you do these things and you self-trust, you know what happens? That abusive person, that toxic person falls off the pedestal and you realize you had the power all along. You were just choosing otherwise because of your conditioning. And now you realize, oh my God, if I'm up here and I live my life according to me, I no longer am looking for other people's opinions or validation or acceptance or approval of me because I've just self-approved. I want you to try this. It's life-changing. Now, before I go, I have to mention, as always, Inner Work is opening again January. First week of January. Dive deep into this. Payment plans. Everything's available. You got to do the inner work. If you can't, we are releasing an on-demand version soon. Speaking of on-demand, we are now doing emotional rehab on-demand and shadow work on-demand for a fraction of the price. And the reason is because it does not include live calls with me every week. The other ones include live calls. But the on-demand version of these classes do not have live calls, but they have everything else in there that you need. So I want you to check that out because this is brand new. It is a new offering. We hope people take advantage of it all year, except for the times that I offer it with the live calls. And if you want the live call, we will be launching shadow work again in March with live calls. So you can get on the wait list for that. All the information is in the description of this video. I would love it if you guys come say hi to me on Instagram or TikTok. I would love it even more if you guys comment in the comment section of this video any thoughts, any further needs in this learning, any further understandings, anything that you feel like you need to share with anyone because it could help them. Please do share this video. It really helps us out. And I really just want to thank you for being here and supporting us. I love you guys. Have a great week.